Happy New Year everyone, Ulton here. Thought I'd begin by telling you the story about how the Russian crown jewels ended up in the back of somebody's fireplace here in Dublin. So, back in 1920, when the Irish rebels were over in the United States trying to raise support and money for the Irish Republic back home, just so happens that Russian representatives of the newly formed Soviet Union were also in New York at the same time for similar reasons. They wanted to get American recognition for the newly established Soviet Union. Eventually, the two sides ultimately met, and in a spirit of revolutionary fraternity, it was agreed that money that had been raised by the Irish among Irish Americans in cities like New York and Boston would be made available to the Russians. The Russians then did something quite unexpected. They handed the Irish delegation jewels which had been taken from the Romanovs, the family, of course, of the Tsar, who had been killed by the Bolsheviks during the Russian Revolution. It wasn't seen as appropriate for Eamon de Valera, President of the Irish Republic, to bring the jewels back to Dublin himself, so instead he sent Harry Boland to Ireland with the jewels. He handed them to Michael Collins, and at that point, of course, there was already quite a lot of tension between Michael Collins and Harry Boland, as both of them had vied for the love of Kitty Kiernan. It is said that when Harry handed the jewels to Michael Collins, Collins threw them back over the table, saying, "To hell with them, they're blood-stained anyway." Instead, they were taken to the Boland family house at 15 Marino Crescent here in Dublin, coincidentally the same house where Bram Stoker of Dracula fame was born. So, the jewels were kept in the house. On his deathbed during the Irish Civil War, Harry Boland said to his family and made them promise not to bring the jewels back to the Irish government until such a day that an Irish Republic is declared. Over a decade later, though, the jewels were removed from the back of the fireplace in the house at 15 Marino Crescent and given to Eamon de Valera. And in the years which followed, there was negotiations between the Irish government and the Soviet government for the jewels to be returned to Moscow. And eventually they were. But it goes to show you, at the end of the day, you never know what you might find lying around your house. May not be the Russian crown jewels, but you never know.